Thanks for the opportunity to discuss this. Obviously, I haven't read the report, well, for obvious reasons. We'll read it later, but I have read quite a bit on this issue, and I've been contacted by quite a few people about it, but I was contacted by one particular man on it, very impressive character, expert in this area, connected with horse breeding. And well, I suppose, as they say, if you have a dog, why bark yourself? So I'm going to read into the record this person's suggestions, because I think they're excellent. And I understand the Minister has seen these as well. He says, at the present time, there is no accounting for horses that leave the population through means other than factories that slaughter horses for the human food chain. Specifically, if an animal disposal agent is hired to euthanize and remove a horse, or simply remove a horse that has died or been euthanized by a veterinarian, the agent does not record vital identification variables such as the UELN and microchip number. The failure to record the UELN and microchip number of each disposed horse is important, but it has no direct implication for the human food chain. But the failure of disposal agents to require a passport to accompany the disposed horse is a critical failing in the system. In recent years, there has been a trade in passports among dealers that buy horses for slaughter for human consumption. When a dead horse is disposed of, the passport is left with the horse owner/keeper. The horse owner/keeper is supposed to return the passport to the issuing agency, but most do not, according to this person. While most owners or keepers are honest, a minority do sell those passports to dealers for use with other horses. Horses that should not be in the human food chain can enter through this back door. Changes in zootechnic law that require horse disposal agents to take a horse's passport, record the death of the horse in the proposed online information system, and return the passport to issuing agency would enhance security of the human food chain. An unintended consequence of this policy proposal may be an increase in the incidence of unauthorised and inappropriate disposal of equine remains among individuals owning horses without passports. This issue should be explored during the policy development process. He also makes a number of recommendations. He says not a database, but an online information system. The Department of Food and the Marine is in the process of launching an equine database. This man believes that the department is rushing this task to respond to the horse meat crisis, and in doing so, it is missing an historic opportunity to institute an online information system that could provide enhanced security and, in doing so, protect public health. This man believes that the Department of Food and Marine of Agriculture, Food and Marine create an equine database that can be accessed by studbook officials, veterinarians, department veterinarians in the field, and horse owners/keepers, with each constituency limited as to the type of the data access they have and the kinds of data that may be entered or changed. Other individuals, not only in Ireland, but also in the EU and indeed throughout the world, should be able to access certain basic data on a read-only basis. The database should contain the fields, variables required by the DAFM to fulfil its obligations under EU and Irish law and to protect public health. The database should permit each approved studbook to create additional fields or variables to suit the individual studbook and its breeding and administrative requirements. When a foal is registered by the studbook, all the required DAFM data must be entered, and JPEG files containing the marking chart and written description of the horse marks must be uploaded into the database. This element of the database is very important because it will allow the department's veterinarians at slaughter facilities throughout the EU, at ports, etc., to compare the UELN microchip number and the JPEG scan of the horse's marking chart and written description of the marks to the actual horse in front of them to confirm the identity of the animal. When a horse is prescribed a substance by a veterinarian that requires the animal to be removed from the food chain, legislation must require the veterinarian to not only note the removal of the food from the food chain in the horse's passport, but also to enter within some specified period, example he gives is 2 hours, that fact online information system. Smartphone apps should be developed to facilitate quick and easy entry of the data into the database by veterinarians while they're in the field and away from their offices. His second suggestion is a centralised passport issuing agency. The requirement under legislation for an indivisible and secure equine passport would be better achieved if there was one passport issuing agency that is integrated into the proposed online information system. Tenders should be sought from independent organisations without conflict of interest. That is, stud books should not be allowed to compete for the contract. To provide real-time production of passports ordered by stud books through the proposed online information system. When a stud book registers a foal or is asked to issue a passport to an older horse, the stud book would enter the required data, including the JPEG files for making a marking chart and written description, into the database and execute the function to issue a passport. The command would be sent to the new passport issuing agency, which in real time would create a bound passport with the latest security features. The blank passports would be identical, except the passport cover would be individualised for each stud book. The benefits of this integrated and centralised approach to passport issuance includes A. New security features, for example holograms, special paper, etc., that can be implemented rapidly, as there would be no inventory of old and outdated passports that must be issued the new passports are used. Before the new passports are used. B. The per unit cost of issuing passports would be lower than the cost incurred by any current stud book because of economies of scale. C. The possibility of passports for older horses being issued without the passports being stamped, removed from the food chain, would be eliminated because the information system could be hardwired to require such an entry in the passport if the 31st of December, 6 months of age requirement is not met, or if the passport is a replacement or a duplicate. D. The real-time nature of the system means there is no reporting lag time, especially important in the case of older horses being issued, original, duplicate or replacement passports. And D. The DAFM's regulatory costs would be reduced. Now, his final recommendation is enhanced identification and control of animals removed from the food chain. Legislation should be passed containing the following elements. A. The Department of Agriculture, Food and Marine must secure and sell to veterinarians a new type of microchip that contains a standard readable code, such as not for human consumption, that veterinarians will be required to insert in horses prescribed drugs that require them to be removed from the food chain. B. The DAFM must secure and sell to veterinarians a freeze mark system with the simple example NHC that veterinarians will be required to apply to horses prescribed drugs
Deputy,
that require them to be removed from the food chain.
Deputy, you've used up half the time, just in case you want to give the other
Anyway, I
half
can have another minute. Okay. C. Before prescribing and/or administering and/or giving the substance to the horse, owner, keeper, to administer, the veterinarians must search for the new chip and, if not present, insert the chip in a specified location and mark the location of the passport marking chart, along with noting that the required removed from the food chain notice is in the passport. D. The Department of Agriculture, Food and Marine must audit every veterinarian every year to confirm that the amount of substances such as bute they acquire reasonably correspond to the number of horses that have been removed from the food chain through passport stamps, the online information system and new microchipped implants and freeze marks, less the amount verified by DAFM inspectors as still being in the veterinarian's inventory. A first offence penalty of €1,000 to be levied on a veterinarian surgeon who dispenses substance that must result in a horse being removed from the floods. And finally, for repeat offenders, a penalty of €10,000 and a suspension of the licence for 3 months per violation. I understand the Minister has got this information, and I'd be interested to hear what he thinks about it.